I'm here with Tina Thompson of the Los Angeles Sparks, the only player to play in all 15 seasons in the WNBA, and part of your experience this season was taking part in the roundtable with legends Sheryl, Swoopes, Tina Thompson, and Lynette Woodward, and after that was done and now it's been aired, what did you take from having that chit-chat with all those players?
Well, it was, I think, more just kind of reminiscing. I mean, all three of those players, myself, Lisa, Lynette, and Sheryl, had all started in our inaugural season in 1997. And I think it's just kind of a different perspective from all of us and just kind of what our experience was. And although there were similarities, it was definitely different. I mean, just because we came from pretty much different eras. I mean, Sheryl and Cynthia were a little bit closer, but I mean, the gap between myself and Lynette was like pretty big. So just very just cool to just kind of reminisce and just, finally just kind of hear and know what they were thinking at that time and just kind of how they felt the WNBA has progressed up to this point.
What was that mood when all four of you reunited at that roundtable?
It was awesome. I mean, we see each other pretty often, especially at NBA All-Star Weekend. And the conversations, of course, are definitely different. I mean, we don't, reminisce so deeply on just kind of our experience in the WNBA. So, I mean, it was just kind of good to just kind of be together again or whatever and just share experiences.
How did that emphasize the longevity of this league? Because there was a lot of critics over the years who fired jabs that said the league wouldn't last, that it would fold, and 15 years later, here we are.
Well, I mean, I think for us, I mean, the WNBA, I mean, we play because we love it and we have a passion for it and we have a good product, So I think that that's definitely a testament to our longevity and just kind of the WNBA is here to stay and to be around for quite a long while. But, in anything that you do, you're going to have critics or people are going to critique or, have negative things to say about what you're doing or why it's happening. But that's okay. Everyone doesn't have to like everything like all the time. But we have our avid fans who come out and they're very adamant about seeing us play and kind of cheering us on. And we know as a league that once we get anyone into an arena and they experience a WNBA game, then they're definitely going to come back.
Now, you touched on this a little bit with the WNBA profile that was uploaded this week. One of the challenges at your level, finding ways to continue contributing 15 seasons down the road. So how has your game evolved from your first game in 1997 to now, where you've been able to contribute so much?
Well, I honestly feel like I'm constantly learning, but I just think in 1997, I mean, I was just kind of very young in basketball as a professional, so I was learning a lot, like, on the job, for sure. I mean, I believe, the only college player, one of two college players on my team at that point. Everyone else on my team was true veterans and not, I guess, a true rookie like myself. So I just kind of keep an open mind, and I feel that in any experience, game, practice, or from one of my teammates or coaches that I could always learn something. I think that when you get to the point where you think you know everything and that's when you stop evolving and just kind of getting better. So with that mindset and definitely a very tough work ethic, I think that I'm learning all the time and it's definitely helped to contribute to my longevity.
How does that highlight the evolution of this league? As you mentioned, the first few years, many players were already pros overseas coming in, and now you have rookie classes. This one was highly touted, and they're filling up rosters and just making this league more competitive.
Well, that's what it's all about. I mean, the drafts, young players coming in and getting better. That's why we play, to continue to give women or young girls the opportunity to be a part of the WNBA. And it's a goal now. It's a dream, to play in the WNBA. And from 15 seasons, I mean, little girls have grown up. I mean, there are at least 5 or 6 players on this team that started watching the WNBA in 1997 and dreamed to be in the WNBA one day, and they're here now. And I think that that's what it's all about when you look at it.
And then some other changes you've seen. Obviously, there was the 4 quarters and some other things between your first season up to now.
Well, I just think the change in the player itself. I mean, the versatility of different players and just kind of getting bigger and faster. I mean, I use a player like Maya Moore as an example. I mean, she's about my height or maybe a little taller. And, I mean, her level of athleticism is so high. I mean, I remember in 1997, I was considered a versatile player because I was a post player that played inside and out and, shooting the three-pointer as well as kind of posting up. But then you look at Maya at the same height as me, and she's playing the 2 or she's she's playing at 3. I mean, and just kind of her quickness and toughness is not comparable. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So when you just kind of see the evolution of just the player itself and how athleticism is definitely having a strong effect like on our game.
And then using Maya Moore and this year's rookie class as an example, where do you see the WNBA continuing to evolve as we see the next generation of players step in and put on those uniforms?
Well, it's ever evolving. I mean, this rookie class was definitely good in 2010 or 11, but you look at players like Diana Taurasi and Simone Augustus and Cappy. I think that Sue Bird, those players are next in line, the Tamika Catchings, to kind of carry the torch for the WNBA, and I think that that we're definitely in good hands. I mean, and there's several players that you can name. You can name players like Candace Parker and, Maya and Liz are kind of the new players, but I mean, we have some really talented young players in this league, so I definitely see the WNBA continue to evolve and standing on its own for sure.
And one element of that chemistry, a lot of the players stick together, even if they're opponents, they always mingle afterwards. Mm-hmm. It was a big thing in your Houston days in the 4-peat and the alliterative big trio, and how has that stayed or perhaps changed either in your experience or with what you've seen with the opponents?
Well, I think that that's just one thing that's special about the WNBA and its league, that we're all kind of like working as a collective group to continue the legacy of the WNBA. Although we're competing against one another, we want it to succeed. We all know that the WNBA is still very young in it being a professional league, and that we continue to have to work and do certain things to ensure that our league is going to continue to stay and to evolve and to get better and better year after year. So keeping that in mind, I think it just kind of gives us a unity as a league in itself, and a sisterhood that is just kind of like unbreakable. I think that we have just less individuals, in this league from that perspective, and thinking just being very just conscious of our league and kind of where we wanted it to be.
Finally, anyone you want to say hi to that might be watching this interview?
My son Dylan. Hi, Dylan.
I'm sure he enjoys it. Thank you for speaking with us, and congratulations on a 15-year career, and who knows, it might be even more.
Thank you. I appreciate that.